Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing amazingly well on this Monday, and I hope you had a cracking weekend with friends, family and loved ones. Whatever you did, I hope you had a great time and you're just ready to kick this week in the nuts and get it going. I woke up this morning full of energy. I don't know why, I'm full of energy. I had a pretty full-on day yesterday. I did some gardening. I filmed a video in the morning, obviously. Took the kids out for ice cream. Well, we did. And yeah, we just, one of those days where you're just busy. But I woke up with energy, which I'm happy about. I'm not going to let the negative, intrusive thoughts win this week. They're all going to be positive. And I'm going to hopefully relay that positivity to you guys and to the rest of my family and just tell you, take a breath and enjoy the day. Today we're going to be reacting to the top 10 things only Americans do and think it's normal. Now, we reacted to a video very similar to this about a month ago. I'll put it up there, wherever it goes, and down in the comments for you to check after this, about things that are only found in America. And that wasn't the case on a lot of them. I'd seen a lot of them, or I'd heard a lot of them, although I hadn't heard of cheese in a can. That still baffles me. But yeah, I think nowadays with the internet and that, it's very difficult for things not to be seen or heard of anymore, if you know what I mean. If you're out there, if you look for things, you'll find them, like with this video. So we'll see what things only Americans do. I'm quite interested to see this. It's starting off with a South Park picture, which is pretty interesting, but yeah, we'll crack into it. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're feeling extra frisky, you may as well hit the like button as well. And without further ado, let's get into 10 things only Americans do and think it's normal.
If you don't like America, why don't you get out?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things Americans do that the rest of the world doesn't.
You're 15, right? Yeah, I gotta call your parents.
It's time. It's time.
Don't wait another minute for Claritin.
Do you do it every day?
Yeah.
For this list, we're going over the things that are more common in the United States of America than in most other countries.
Now it's more
Some
common.
of them are present elsewhere. They're not quite as widespread as in the US. And no judgment. This is supposed to be a lighthearted list after all, so keep a sense of humor and know that it's all in good fun. If there's a particular Americanism that our list didn't cover, please do tell us in the comments. Number 10. Refer to the USA as America.
America,
Outside of the United States of America, referring to the country as America is much less commonplace.
Hold
After
on.
all,
I always refer to it as America. And I sometimes have to change it, because I don't know. I always refer to it as America.
referring to the country as America is much less commonplace. After all, there are two entire continents called America, comprising like 35 distinct nations. Referring to only one country
I've
on
never
one
even
of those
thought of that,
continents
South
as America
America.
too is really confusing for anyone who doesn't live there.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America.
Look at that hair. Hey, Donald, share some of those locks with me over here, buddy.
Forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Calling it the US, USA, the United States,
I do call
or
it the
just
US as
States
well.
is much more common in the rest of the world. Even so, everyone still calls its residents Americans, which isn't confusing at all.
You can't say it, but you know it's true.
Number 9. Have pharmacies that sell groceries. In most of the
What?
world, pharmacies sell exactly what their name implies, pharmaceuticals. While you will see tangentially related items like grooming.
Again, okay, we have grocery stores that sell pharmaceuticals in England and here. So is it that different?
Implies pharmaceuticals. While you will see tangentially related items like grooming products or hygienic things like toothbrushes, pharmacies don't usually carry food or toys. But in the US, that's much more common. The country is all about the all-in-one experience.
Jesus,
Not
that
only
camera's
will
making me
dedicated
dizzy.
grocery stores have pharmacies built in, but pharmacies will also carry groceries. Granted, the selection isn't always great, but if you're desperate for milk and the grocery store is closed or you just don't feel like crossing the street to get there, you can get some. While most of the world still limits drugstores to drugs and self-care products, we have a feeling this one might catch on.
I think it
Number
already
8,
has.
vote before they can drink. Worldwide, the age at which a person can legally drink alcohol is most commonly 18.
Yeah.
The age usually considered to be adulthood, though it is even earlier in some countries. The voting age on a global scale is also generally 18, for similar reasons, although of course there are exceptions.
The Voting Rights Act of 1970 lowered the voting age to 18 for national elections, and the 26th Amendment made the change to 18 permanent for all elections.
And 18 is where it has stayed for the past 50 years.
However, the United States requires young adults to wait 3 years after being able.
I think they should raise the drinking limit. I'm a big I am, how do I say it? I don't like the fact that you see teenagers getting absolutely shit-faced because alcohol is so readily available. I would rather they bring the age up a bit, because I was a teenager. I know what stupid mistakes I made when I was 18 and I was drinking. I was drinking before 18, which most teenagers do as well. They sneak drinks, or they get their friends to buy it. And I just think there should be stricter regulations on alcohol, especially alcohol, because alcohol's a nightmare, man. I'm not completely against alcohol. I'll have a nice beer on a really hot day or something, but I've got a really addictive personality, so I've knocked drinking on the head on a regular basis. In the summertime, if I'm having a barbecue, yeah, I'll have a couple beers, but I try and limit myself now and keep really how do I say? I keep away from booze if I can, because I don't want to go turn into an alcoholic and then ruin my kids' lives as well as my missus and everyone else's around me. I'm not too worried about mine. If I'm wanting to turn into an alcoholic and ruin my own life, yeah, that's one thing, but not everyone around me.
However, the United States requires young adults to wait 3 years after being able to vote before legally being allowed to drink at 21. This was enacted during the 1980s to prevent alcohol-related driving accidents.
This law has been an abysmal failure. It hasn't reduced or eliminated drinking. It has simply driven it underground, behind closed doors, into the most
that's a
risky
fair point as well.
and least manageable of settings.
While it helped in the short term, ultimately it hasn't really stopped teenagers from drinking. The result is that many people, both inside and outside the U.S., question the logic of why an 18-year-old American can decide who forms the government but not get buzzed.
The reality is everyone drinks before they turn 21.
Brilliant.
That's why when you go out for your first legal drink, you have to react with that faux surprise like you've never heard of alcohol.
I love Jim Jeffries.
Ooh, what does this alcohol taste like? Oh, it's unusual. Oh, this is true.
Number 7. Tip service personnel.
All right, everybody cough up some green for the little lady.
Yeah, it's not common here, but I tend to always tip if I can. If I can, I will always tip, because I worked in a pub and a bar and I've done all those jobs before, and I know how much you rely on tips, so I always tip.
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
While the concept of tipping waitstaff or other people in the service industry is known worldwide, few countries have embraced the concept to the degree the U.S. has.
Labor movements declare the practice undemocratic, and anti-tipping legislation was enacted across several states. But restaurants and rail operators like the Pullman Company embraced tipping because it allowed them, among other things, to hire recently freed slaves without having to pay them.
Many workers, particularly in the restaurant industry, rely on gratuities to get by, in part because laws allow managers to pay sub-minimum wages to tipped workers. However, in various other countries, tipping is seen as insulting. They're just doing their jobs, after all.
Each year, Americans spend $40 billion
on tips.
That's more than we spend on foreign aid and more than we spend on gambling.
Holy smoke!
Like gambling, it's not entirely clear that tipping makes any sense in the first place.
While some countries' workers certainly appreciate it, it isn't expected like it is in the U.S. Mostly because employees are paid a high enough baseline salary that they don't need tips to survive.
I don't know if I agree with
Restaurant owners still pay their servers less than minimum wage, turning what used to be a bribe into an obligation that makes the end of every meal suck.
The American military is probably the best in the world, as it should be, since it's also one of the best funded militaries in the world. In fact, the U.S. spends several times more on their military than their nearest competitor, China. What's more, there are more than a few American citizens who have a higher than average fascination with their own military and its culture.
I thank you as your commander-in-chief because you inspire me. Your willingness to serve, to step forward, at a time of war and say, "Send me," is the reason the United States stays strong and free.
While other countries certainly appreciate
true,
their
isn't it?
troops, you don't, see as many people wearing camouflage as...
There's something I wanted to ask any Americans watching. How do they look after the troops after? I don't know. I've heard some negative things, but then I've also heard some positive things. Because that's what always gets me, is like, these men and women have offered their lives, basically, and then they get back, and some countries are like, "You're on your own, bud. You got a small pension, enjoy it, you're on your own." Which sucks, really.
As a legitimate fashion statement. Likewise, you don't see movies made elsewhere that glorify the military to the degree that the US does.
Oh yeah, I've never thought of that. That's true.
Tell my children I love them very much. All right, you alien assholes.
I'm gonna get so copywritten for this.
Part of the American enthusiasm is certainly rooted in patriotism. Still, it may also be a reaction to an increasingly anti-military sentiment that has popped up over the last several decades.
No war, okay? No war, okay? Oh, here you go, boys. These will help you protest. It's good to see that you care about peace, boys, okay?
Number 5, work too much. Americans are workaholics, at least compared to basically every other country in the world. The majority of Americans work more than 40 hours a week.
Why do we do this to ourselves? Well, the conventional answer is that
Because
this
we have
attitude
to.
towards work makes the American economy the envy of the world. America is a hectic, turbocharged system that builds, destroys, rebuilds, all at warp speed.
They also tend to lack many of the things the rest of the world takes for granted, like paid holidays, as well as sick and parental
That
leave.
shocked me, was the paid holiday. Because in the UK, when I was working in my last job for someone, I think I was on 25 or 27 holiday days a year, which was pretty good, really. And then obviously you still get the bank holidays, like the public holidays off, and weekends. I didn't work weekends either, which was awesome. That was like the first job that I had all three combined. That was crazy. It was so good. But I've always had paid holiday, so that was something I wasn't aware
The
of.
rest of the world takes for granted, like paid holidays, as well as sick and parental leave. Research has
I didn't
shown
get
that
sick
happier,
days.
less stressed workers do better at their jobs. Iceland even recently tried a 4-day work week that proved wildly successful.
There's lots of other benefits to a 4-day working week. It's not just the it's not just the mental health and economy, good for the economy. It's also environmental benefits too. Evidence looks like when we're commuting less as a result of a 4-day week, that brings down emissions. Also, energy consumption goes down. So this is a policy that's win-win for the environment, for workers, for employers. What's not to like about it?
Several European countries take long breaks for lunch. While the American drive is admirable, grind culture
Is that a
becomes
lot? I don't know.
problematic when it costs workers their mental health and well-being. Number 4, put sales tax on everything.
This one, on the video yesterday as well, I thought the sales tax on something was the same across the board, like a certain amount of percentage. But it's different. I didn't know that. That's how do you work out the prices?
Sales tax is paid when you buy something, and the business you purchased your goods from sends that money to the government. There are 2 types of sales tax: general sales tax and excise taxes. General sales tax is a tax levied on most goods you buy. Excise taxes are taxes levied only on certain items.
Most countries enact a value-added tax, or VAT, on goods or services purchased within their borders. These taxes are collected from every person in the supply chain, from the distributors to the consumers. The United States is one of the few to use sales tax, which not only vary wildly from state to state, but are only enacted after a purchase has been made.
Yeah,
the state
that would
treasury
confuse
depends
the life
on
out of
sales
me.
taxes to pay for road repairs, education, and medical care for children, seniors, and the poor.
They're also not listed in the initial price, which can leave foreign visitors and many Americans scratching their head as to why they're being charged more than the price on the product.
This woman's eyes
Better
freak me
or
out.
worse? You decide. It's certainly more confusing.
Go away.
What's the advice then if you're going to buy a big ticket item? Where's the cheapest sales tax?
Well, you can go online and look at all the sales tax rates for different cities, and if you look at one dealership or one, Best Buy or something like that, you can find the different zip codes and look at the sales tax rates and just see how much that'll take off, and then take your family out for a nice night.
There you go.
Number 3, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
In many parts of the United States, school children, and adults in some settings, are expected to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. This is...
Sorry to pause again. In South Africa, when I was growing up, we used to have to sing the national anthem at school. I can't remember if it was every morning or just at assemblies, but we had to sing it, as well as the Lord's Prayer. So, yeah.
An expression that they will be loyal to the USA and is usually performed daily while looking at the nation's flag.
I know it's not the same, but...
Then in 1892, when it was written by Francis Bellamy, Bellamy was a Baptist minister, and in conjunction with a magazine called The Youth's Companion, he wrote this, at that time, 23-word Pledge of Allegiance.
Citizens of other countries might respect or salute their flag and country, but a daily affirmation? Not in most places. The Pledge of Allegiance has been the subject of controversy and criticism, both from outside the U.S. and from within. Some see it as indoctrination. Others find its mentions of God problematic, and still others think it was simply written to sell merch. Whatever the case, it is not a common thing in the rest of the world.
But the bottom line is, we all look different, sound different, but we are all on the same team.
Number 2, go bankrupt from
There you go. This is the one as well that got me.
Medical costs are the cause of over 60% of all bankruptcies in the United States.
In 2017, 1/3 of the money raised on GoFundMe went towards medical campaigns. And the site raises $650 million a year for more than 250,000 medical campaigns.
Crazy.
Americans experience a variety of unexpected charges while getting much needed care.
I'm so thankful that we don't deal with that. Like, we've got insurance here, and then in the UK you pay national insurance, comes out your wages every month anyway. But I'm so blessed that it's free medical care here. It's pretty much free medical care. The insurance, I think... Yeah, it's a weird one. Our insurance for our whole family is not a lot of money every month for 4 of us. And like I said in yesterday's video, I've had MRIs, I've had that camera down my throat, I've had everything done to me here since we moved here. And yeah, we don't worry about it. Dental is the only thing we really worry about because it's quite pricey.
From surprise bills to being charged for riding in an ambulance.
According to one study, 71% of all ambulance providers do not take the patient's insurance. That same study found that 79% of patients who took an ambulance could get a surprise bill, with an average
I'd be scared to get sick or phone I wouldn't go to the doctor.
In some parts of the civilized world, even seeing a medical bill can be an uncommon occurrence. Healthcare worldwide tends to be much more regulated than it is in the US. It's either funded through taxes in a single-payer system or else through individual insurers who are more strictly monitored.
Other countries, they don't have this problem. Instead of every private insurance company negotiating with every healthcare provider, there's just this big list. Country, the central government, they go and they say, if you want to sell to us, to all of our people, then here's what you can charge for a checkup. Here's what you can charge for an MRI or a prescription for Lipitor.
Bottom line, while there can sometimes be extra charges, for most of the world, medical debt is basically unheard of, except in horror stories about the US.
Can't get a credit card. I can't buy a house. I don't see me ever being out of debt.
Before we get to our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Free refills. Restaurants will fill up glasses with even more drinks for free and with lots of ice. Throw baby showers. Many cultures see them as bad luck
or gender reveals. What the hell is with a gender reveal party? Those things drive me insane. They always pop up and you're like, well, who cares? If it's a boy or a girl, yes, if you prefer, if you want, if you're excited to have a boy, great. If you're excited, don't freaking have a party. Get a laugh.
Poor taste.
Sorry, that really bugs me.
Wear shoes indoors. Sure, not every American does this, but it's still considered weird in a lot of countries.
Yeah, we take our shoes off at the front door.
Advertise drugs to consumers.
We've seen this
Pharmaceutical companies' clout allows this, annoying basically everyone but them.
These ads are legal in most countries, but in the US, they're everywhere. On average, 80 of them air every hour on American television.
Ask your doctor. Oh man, I hate adverts as it is.
Use red plastic cups for alcohol.
Oh, these have all come up on the other one.
Every American party.
Here we go. Come on, dude, right here.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, you guys
and
as
ring
well,
the bell
subscribe.
To get notified about our latest videos.
And you can ring the bell.
You have the option to be
Not to them,
notified
to me.
for occasional
And to them.
videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Use the Imperial Measurement System.
Can you explain
Again,
to
it'll
me
confuse me.
how the country that can send men and hopefully women to the moon
all and beyond.
still are in gallons and inches?
Mm.
And when the entire world is metric, I do not understand this.
There are 3 countries in the world that don't use the
And
metric
listen to
system.
which 3 countries are.
Myanmar, Liberia, and the
America.
United States. Objectively, metric is the less arbitrary measurement system since everything goes by tens. Even Britain and Commonwealth countries have converted.
The point is, the US system has always been a little more accessible than metric. Sure, stacking up 12 thumb widths to make a foot, that's still kind of weird, but it's not so weird that we're clamoring to change it.
Although admittedly, they do still use measurements like feet and inches casually.
So now I can't ask a distance when I visit another country. I'm like, how far is that? They're like, that's 500 kilometers. I'm not in the Olympics.
So why hasn't the US converted? We'll give you one guess. Did you say it's because of money? Because money is definitely a big factor. Converting
it?
to a whole new system of measurement is expensive.
suppose so, yeah.
Other factors include a need for control and stability of the US. So, inertia, basically. Why change when you don't need to? And you know what your mom says. If all the other countries jumped off a bridge, would the US do it too? Or something like that.
A 2015 Rasmussen poll asked Americans if we should switch to the metric system and adopt
64%
Celsius as
said
our main
no.
temperature
You gotta
scale.
listen to the people.
64% said no, while 21% said yes, and the
And
remaining
15 not
15% were
undecided. They couldn't give a shit.
So it looks like we're
Who
perfectly
cares?
fine with being different.
Do you agree with our picks?
Yeah, do you agree with them? If there's anything you can think of that's only found in America and not anywhere else, please let me know. Or only do in America and not anywhere else, then let me know. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra frisky, you may as well hit the like button as well. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze, so I'll turn this off. Have a great day, guys. Peace.